going on, everybody? Welcome to 49ers First Takes. I know you're only seeing two of us right now. I was supposed to have another two, but life happens. One guy's he's not feeling so well, and the other guy's waiting for an electrician. You know, life, it happens. I've had to deal with that kind of stuff. They're both open to join at any point during the stream while it's still going, and I'll try to kind of catch them up to what we were talking about and get their opinions on stuff if they do join. But right now, it's me and my main man, Rob. Rob's been on my channel a couple of times now, and we all know who Rob is. He's got a great YouTube channel that I watch incessantly. And you also see him on Grant's channel and a smattering of other people because everybody is seeing how good he is. So, Rob, welcome back again.
Thank you for having me, Aaron. Yeah, everyone else is listed as doubtful for the appearance, but there's a chance, right? There's still a chance.
Exactly. What happened was I was trying to get some other people, and it's just certain people's work schedule. Like my work schedule, I work very early in the morning, like 4 a.m. I do a lot of breakdown of skids and stuff where I work for a product. And like some days I'm in at 7, some days I'm in at 4, and my days off are not 2 in a row. They're usually 1, and then I work early the next day. So if I'm going to do a stream, I'm going to do it the night before my day off.
Right.
And it doesn't always coincide with other people's days off. So right now it's getting harder and harder to kind of stream with people. And I think Rob's the only one that kind of can do it just because of his schedule. So welcome back again. We have a game to look forward to this Sunday. I can't wait. It's an early game for me. It's a 1:00 game, so I'm happy. I think for you, it's like, 10 a.m.?
Yeah, 10 a.m. Got to get up early. Got to get ready and actually shower before the game so that I can do a live stream beforehand. Got to be prepared and awake. I'm much more of a night owl than I am an early morning person. That's for sure.
Yes. When I was out of work both times with my shoulder surgery, man, I stayed up ridiculously late. So like I was producing content for my channel like all the time.
Yeah.
As soon as I went back to work, I'm like, oh God, like I love doing stuff on my channel, but I'm like so tired all the time. I don't have the motivation. Before we get started, I just want to show people my shirt. You don't have to buy it. I'm wearing it. It's 49ers First Takes. It's got my, Bashar's joining us. All right, cool guys. We have another one. Hold on 1 second. But you can find it on my link tree on my Instagram if you'd like to get it. The coffee mugs, don't buy them. They don't look too great right now. I'm working on that. The design didn't really copy over too well. So hold on 1 second, everybody.
Getting that merch going. I like it.
Definitely. I got to get my background the right way here.
Yes. Got to get those overlays correct. I see in the comments, what's up to Luke? What's up to Moses? Karthik is in there. Niners Sickness. Pinor is in there. All right. Got a good group. CG Ruthless.
I'm coming, Bashar. Don't. Okay. There we go.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Great. We haven't really started any topics yet. I just did the intro.
I'm going to say this. I might have to jump off the camera every once in a while, so I'm just warning you ahead of time. Otherwise, I might have to leave. So it's just my day has been really weird today, but I did want to come on with you guys and talk Niners without a doubt.
Definitely. I'm glad you're able to come in. I kind of every preface it everybody with you have an electrician.
Yeah,
it's the window where you want them in the morning and they actually come in the afternoon, kind of like the satellite or cable guy kind of thing. Bashar, by the way, people, go check his Instagram. He makes pizza. He has his own wood-fired oven in the backyard, I think you said, right?
Well, it's actually a gas-fired oven, but...
Dude posts pictures of pizza all the time. He knows that I love pizza, even though it gives me achita, but I eat it anyways. So check his Instagram out. It's worth it. It'll make your mouth water. I think Rob's actually closer to him than I am. He's a West Coaster. I'm an East Coaster. So I'd actually have to take a trip to get that pizza, but it's probably worth it.
Well, you live pretty close to New York. Well, New York City, right? You're in New York State. So
I'm actually 7 hours away from New York City. So it's not even worth getting pizza. I'm actually eating pizza after the stream's over. Me and my brother are getting pizza. So, but
what goes the best with football? Pizza, right?
I try to eat before the game because I get a lot of achita because I get really stressed. when I eat during the game, it's always a bad mix. I get really, really ill because I'm like really mad and angry, and then the pizza starts kicking in, especially if you have spicy wings. Yeah, I'm getting old, man. I don't take food like I used to. It's not as easy. We might have Silverado Kev joining us from Real Talk Niner Talk. He's not feeling so great, so he might join us. If not, just letting you guys know that was kind of the plan. It was the 4 of us originally. But since we have the 3 of us here, I figure we get started. The 49ers played the Jacksonville Jaguars this Sunday at 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I think the question that everybody has going into this game is, how do the 49ers avoid a letdown like they did against the Arizona Cardinals? Rob, I'll let you go first, and then Bashar right after.
Yeah, I mean, it sets up for the letdown game, the trap game, pretty perfectly. They come off of a Monday night victory over a division rival, a highly emotional win, one that they desperately needed, one that probably came with sort of that emotional release afterward, having gotten the first win at Levi Stadium in over a year. And then they have the short week. They got to fly across country, basically one of the furthest destinations in the NFL landscape for the San Francisco 49ers, and play a team that they are expected to beat by, they're favored by 6.5 on Vegas's line. And that leads to generally a state of overconfidence. My hope here is that the 49ers suffered that embarrassing loss to Arizona so recently in memory that they won't allow themselves to come out slowly. But that is the fear, that they will start slow against the Jacksonville Jaguars team that will then feel like they are in this game. I think for me, the critical component is sticking with the complementary football. They cannot get desperate against Jacksonville if things are going slowly, if it's a close-knit game like it was between Jacksonville and Buffalo. What happened to Buffalo and Josh Allen was they panicked, and Josh Allen attempted to do too much. He attempted to make too many plays. If he had dinked and dunked the way in which the 49ers offense so frequently does, they probably would have won that game. So for me, it's about sticking with the run game. It's about playing complementary defense and not turning the ball over.
Bashar?
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw, like, for example, like when I watched the mic up. I didn't watch the one for the Arizona game, but I saw that the last game, just the mic up, how everybody, they say we don't have leaders, but it seems like certain players stepped up and were loud and got everybody pumped up and ready to go. And obviously they were ready to play a really good team, but we need to do that week in and week out, because you could lose to anybody in the NFL. They probably didn't have before the game for that Cardinals game when we were playing Colt McCoy. So we are going over the Jacksonville road game. Like Rob Shue mentioned earlier, it's not easy to win on the road when those 10 a.m. starts, and they're gonna have to find a way to get themselves energized for this game. It's not gonna be a cakewalk just because this team is a weak record, and we've proven that we haven't won the games that we should have. So just limit the amount of mistakes that you make. Our team in our losses is very mistake prone. I've been mentioning it over and over again like a broken record. Loose ball here, loose ball there. We don't get it, but yeah, we're right in front of it. I can go on and on about how many stupid mistakes that we've made throughout this season. So, they got to get energized. They can't, say, hey, we're playing a weak team. They can lose to anybody. So, and again, stick to your bread and butter. We're built to run the ball. In this last game, Kyle Shanahan drew up probably a ways to run the ball. Yet we didn't see that all season, and we know it's worked in the past. But we finally saw it, and hey, why not keep doing it? Do it until they stop it.
Yeah, with me, it all comes to, like Rob said, is playing complementary football, running the ball, doing the things that you do best against a team that you should beat. In the NFL, you're not going to win every game, especially if you go against good teams. You want to kind of split those games, or at least try to split those games with good teams, and then, win the games against the really crappy teams. If the Niners were to lose to Jacksonville, I said this in the comments in a couple streams that I jumped into. If the Niners lose, then it renders everything meaningless. They had a really emotional, physical, kick-ass game against a team who, for all intents and purposes, is the best team in the NFC West. And it's like, where was that all year? Like, where was that motivation? Where was that fire? Kyle Shanahan giggling at the end, smiling, looking cocky. That's the guy I want to see. So, play every opponent as if they're the best team in the NFL. And it's human nature when you go against somebody you think you should beat that you let your guard down. It is. I don't care what people say. So I'm just looking for the 49ers to come out, be consistent for 2 weeks in a row, and be smart with the way they play. No turnovers, do the things that you do best. And hopefully, if that's the case, we come out of this game with a W and we're 5-5, and we're finally at 500 for the first time in since week 2, maybe, I think.
Yeah. They have to prove to themselves that they are who they proved they were last week against the Rams. That to me was the reemergence of exactly who I expected to see starting this season. That was the frustrating part for me every week, week in, week out, was watching inconsistent football that didn't match up with my expectations going into the season. And I'll be honest that I started to change those expectations because of what I kept seeing. Finally, against the Rams, I saw what I thought I was going to be seeing the entire year. It's a question of whether they can keep it up. They found the identity. Now can they keep it?
Yeah, there's no excuses. This is what they call the home stretch, the 7th inning stretch. Anything that has stretch in it, that means that this is an important part of the season. So hopefully, like last week, I didn't really react watching the game. I was kind of just sitting there like this, kind of just letting things kind of develop. And as I started seeing the interception and then the other interception that was returned for a touchdown, and then, Elijah Mitchell running good and Debo dominating, I started to kind of cheer for the first time this year. I have been very quiet watching games because I'm just so like Bashar said, like the fumbles that are in front of everybody, but nobody picks them up. It's so stressful. So for the first time in a long time, I actually was enjoying myself. So hopefully, like I said, it's a 1:00 start. It's good for me because if the Niners win, I can kind of relax a little bit and not go to bed right away. And then I can have a nice day at work on Monday. I'm working with some really strong people on Monday at work and not the crappy people. So it could just it'll be like a good Sunday, Monday kind of rollover, good victory on the Sunday, works to kind of easy on Monday, and then everything's good. So I did send a Instagram invite in the link to Niner Sickness. If you're still in the chat, I sent it to you. He's free to join and come on here with us. I have an open slot. And we can just keep doing what we're doing here. So I guess the news coming into this game, I know you guys have probably seen it, was Elijah Mitchell looks like he's going to be doubtful. And that is not good news. Not surprising, though, because he's really physical for a small guy. And it's kind of a freak injury that he hurt his finger. What do you guys think about that? Are you hoping maybe to see Trey Sermon? Do you think the Niners let Trey Sermon touch the ball? Or are we just going to see like an overdose of freaking Jeff Wilson Jr. and or do the Niners completely panic and just start trying to chuck the ball around the yard? What is your guys' take? Bashar, you can go first.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see Trey Sermon play for quite some time, mainly because I liked what I saw in the Seahawks game. And now he wasn't running the ball all over the field in terms of, various types of run plays, but he was smashing up the middle and getting consistent yards. It was nice to see. I like that. And then for whatever weird reason, I don't know if Kyle doesn't like him. I heard some rumors that he may have had some fumbling issues in practice, but, now if Trey doesn't play this week, it basically says Kyle hates his guts. and I love Jeff Wilson Jr., don't get me wrong. I love what I've seen him from last year, especially in that Patriots game. There's certain times where he runs with the head of steam, and I love it. He didn't look exactly 100% in my opinion in the last game. He was getting some nice runs up the middle every now and then, but Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty lame if they just gave Jeff Wilson Jr. the ball the whole damn time, and then Trey Sermon doesn't get any touches. That's my opinion about it. I don't even know if Hasty's even healthy anymore. Is Hasty still around?
I heard he was hurt last week. I don't know if he's still hurt.
What's
Rob,
up,
you know,
Kev?
by any chance? What's going on, Silverado Kev?
He's out.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Kev?
Kev, sorry that you're not feeling so great. Thanks for popping in, even if it's for a little bit, my man.
It's all good, man. I get migraines from time to time, man. More frequent than I like to admit, but it's all good.
I'm in the same boat with you today. I got my bad migraine today and yesterday.
So you thanks for having me, man. I know I missed a lot. So I got jumped in on the World's Waldo, World's Waldo train. Waldo being Sermon. I don't know what's going on, man. But right now, for tomorrow, you got to play somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You can't put all that load on Jeff Wilson Jr. like that, and he fresh off the IR. So I don't know, man. I don't know if he said something about Kyle Shanahan mama or what. I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying, but he need to figure it out. He needs some help.
Did any of you guys hear about him possibly? I don't know if this is a rumor, and I've heard it different content creators, YouTubers, people everywhere. Did he remove the 49ers from his Instagram or something like that from social media? Is that a true thing, or is that kind of a rumor that's just being
say 49ers isn't his name
know?
anymore? It just says ATL. Yeah.
Rob?
Interesting. I had heard that it was originally a rumor, and then I saw someone who was trying to debunk it, and it appeared to be someone that had some credibility. But I've not gone and actually looked for myself, which is easy enough to do to confirm whether or not he's removed it. And so that is intriguing. I mean, it's a weird scenario to not have any information about it. The one time that we saw him on the field, he appeared to be serviceable at worst, right? And potentially, I mean, I think he averaged 4.5 yards a carry in the game that he got those snaps. And it's confusing. Maybe the injury, the neck injury was more severe in that one game where he did get in. I've wondered if he's had ball security issues in practice. There has to be some underlying explanation. What I find to be so frustrating is much like the continued questions about Trey Lance, which are 1,000% warranted and should have been expected by the 49ers organization. Every time the beat writers ask about this, because as fans, we're constantly asking the beat writers, every time they ask Kyle and John these questions, in particular Kyle Shanahan, he appears to be irritated that he has to continue to answer these. And the reality is you're not giving us an answer, and that's why you keep getting the question. If you want to stop getting the question, just be honest about it. Just tell us what's really going on, because we saw him get all the first-team snaps in preseason, and then he disappeared. So don't tell us that it's just because Elijah Mitchell beat him out. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell's been fantastic, but he wasn't getting the first-team reps in preseason when everyone was observing it. It's wild.
What do you think about that, Beto?
I just jumped in real quick, so I didn't hear the first part of it.
Just the whole, okay, so we're down possibly, it's doubtful that Elijah Mitchell plays, right? So the question is, are we going to see Trey Sermon tomorrow? Like, what is going on? He's supposedly removed the 49ers off of his all his social media stuff, Instagram, all that. Do the Niners play him tomorrow, or are we going to see another mystery where we just see Jeff Wilson Jr. carry the ball like 40 times?
Yeah, I personally think I would love to see Trey Sermon play, but I think Wilson will be the cowbell if Elijah Mitchell's not able to go, and most likely he probably won't. And it's sad because you can really run on this team, but I believe it's going to just be Wilson. I don't know. Trey Sermon, I think he's not. I don't know if it's his. I think it's his blocking ability. He's not able to block very well. That's why he's not in there. But I don't know what it is. Either that or he hit on Kyle Shanahan's wife. I don't know what he did, man. But he did something that Kyle Shanahan doesn't like.
If you guys don't mind me jumping in for a sec. Go ahead, Kev.
And I just want to say something to piggyback off what Rob said. He said that Shanahan gets irritated when he's asked a question, and this is something I've said to my kids or people I know personally. Like, as tired of you are as answering the question, I'm tired of asking the question. So damn it, you know what I'm saying? You give me an answer to where I don't have to keep asking you. I'm the kind of person I hate not to be in the know. I hate not knowing certain things. So I mean, just tell me, or provide a sufficient answer. And you for the most part, at least for now, you silence the questions because okay, well that makes sense. But right now you're leaving us like 18 million different scenarios of why Sermon isn't playing. Like I saw on one snap versus the Rams. I think he caught a short poof type kick. You know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, there's Sermon. And that's the last we saw him, And what I don't get is he played fairly well. I think it was against the Seahawks. Then all of a sudden, what happened to him? So I don't know, man. Like this, I've heard of Kyle's doghouse, but this is like Kyle's doghouse but it's like a mansion or something. I mean, it's acres because this
it's like a Michael Vick doghouse, huh?
Man, for real, it's just crazy, man. And like we were just saying, with Jeff Wilson Jr. just coming back fresh off IR, you mean to tell me you're going to give him all the carries? I mean, so unless you have Cannon up, and Cannon a fumble. So if it's a fumbling issue, that don't make no sense because Cannon has done the same thing. So, and tomorrow for Jacksonville, like I said in my Week 11 preview, or in the Week 11 preview, although they've given, I think they're like ninth in yards per game pretty much, but they're running 3-4. And from a coach's standpoint, being a coach myself or just a former player or a fan, a 34 is one of the easiest fronts to run against because you only have 3 down linemen. So when you got guys like we have up front, and then you got the 2 edge guys, Miles Jack and Josh Allen, those are edge rushers. So they're trying to get the quarterback most of the time. So they might most times will eliminate themselves. So my thing is you should be able to gut these guys pretty well. And from the tape I saw, most of the big runs versus that defense come up the middle. Right tackle, left tackle, 1 hole, 2 hole, so you're gonna need guys who can pound it, and Sermon is a good back. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see what type of production or play he gets tomorrow because we're going to need all hands on deck.
I just want to say one thing really quick. When Sermon caught that kickoff, did you notice that he just did he call fair catch or something? Or he just stopped? I'm like, you never touched the ball. Like, you finally got the ball in your hands. Come on, run with some anger or something. And he just stands there and downs it or whatever. That was so frustrating to see.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Man.
Oh, okay. The one thing I wanted to say is that remember the report that they had some sort of tracking device or something on Ayuk when he was in practice that kind of determined that maybe he wasn't going as hard in practice, and that kind of finally unraveled the mystery of like why he was in the doghouse or whatever, that he wasn't kind of giving it his all. Do you think it could be similar of what's going on with Trey Sermon? Maybe they got a tracking device in him too. Maybe he's not running hard when he's practicing or not giving 110%. Maybe with Kyle Shanahan, nothing surprises me, honestly. So he'll find any reason to put you in this doghouse. The way I look at it is it's a meritocracy with the 49ers. It doesn't matter where you're drafted. It doesn't matter what you sign for or how much you make. It's the best player plays. And unfortunately with Trey Sermon, he ain't been the best player, unfortunately. And that sucks because I want to see him. He's a 3rd round pick. He should be playing. So,
yeah.
What do you guys think?
The frustrating part for me is I'm just not so sure that's the case with Sermon. In other instances, it has seemed to be the best player on the field. But, he had 31 carries for 4.4 yards per carry. That's not shabby, right? Nope. That's decent. And so it just makes you wonder if he were given the opportunity, if he wouldn't be able to make more of it. There has to be one of these factors playing into it. But back to the idea of Kyle getting so irritated, if he would just reveal which of these factors it was, we would stop asking.
Right.
Yeah, the $1 million question, huh?
It's just that simple.
I wanted to go back to the topic that I had before you got Beto and Kev joined. And what it was I asked Rob and I asked Bashar, what do the Niners got to do to avoid a letdown like they had against the Arizona Cardinals and beat a team that they should beat? Niner Sickness, if you want to go first.
Not play Jimmy Ward. Put in Wilson for Jimmy, and we'll have a letdown like we did against the Cardinals. But with Jimmy Ward back there supporting that secondary, no. But I'm just joking with that. I mean, he's the better safety. But
I was like, wait, what?
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Curveball. But no, what the Niners need to do is they just need to not to overlook the Jags. They got to play their style of football. Be disciplined. Try not to make mistakes. Easier said than done. But if the 49ers can play disciplined football, mistake-free, and not hurt themselves, even without Elijah Mitchell, we should get this victory over the Jags. It's just a matter of what 49er football team are we getting. Are we getting the new revamped football team that played against the Rams, or are we getting the old Kyle and Jimmy that played against the Cardinals? And hopefully we'll continue to get the Rams type of 49er football, and we should be fine in Jacksonville, and we should get this win. We just got to play discipline.
Kev?
Now, this is more on the mental side of it, but if it's me, I have that Cardinals game playing on every TV and every room possible in that facility. I mean, all day, every day. Like, you watching this? Like, you know, I mean, just to keep that memory, you know, fresh in their minds. But again, like I said in the preview, though, I just don't see them going back to playing that way. I don't know what it was, and remind me to send Kyle Shanahan the bill for my blood pressure medication for the first 6 or 7 weeks.
Mine too, yeah.
You know, but I just don't see them going back to playing like that. Only because they saw how good it felt. They saw how the fans felt. They saw how they played for each other, and they know they can do it. I mean, so I just don't see them saying, "Oh, you know what? Let's turn the switch back off." You know, and they're supposed to be back to 500 now, or you know what a per se winning record. I mean, I just don't see how you go backwards like that. You know, and we're on the road again too. We're undefeated on the road. So I mean, hey man, just ante up. Let's go get it. And you're playing against Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick. I know he's the number one pick, make him feel like the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant. So it's also an opportunity to say, so what? They're 2-5, but we put on tape 2 weeks in a row that we back. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's also a gear up for this run. So it's almost like doing something repetitively. Just keep it going. And so I predicted, I think it was 30-13 or 30-17. It may not be that scoring that high, but I'm trying to speak that to existence. But again, I don't see a letdown, man. And maybe it was just me, but I don't know. Jeff Wilson Jr. seemed to be real hyped before that game. And I think he kind of brought some extra oomph, some extra, bravado into the locker room and into the game, along with Jimmy Ward. So if guys like that say, hey, listen, we ain't done nothing yet. We still got work to do. I think we'll be just fine. So I do think we go in here and beat Jacksonville. And I saw somebody saying something about Josh Allen. Yeah, Josh Allen's a monster. But the beauty of a 3-4 is the two guys on the edges, that's what their job is typically, is to get to the quarterback. And so if you think about it, it's going to be one-on-one on one side with Trent Williams and Josh Allen maybe per se, and then one-on-one on the other side with Tom Compton. Hopefully, Jalen Moore can play. I feel a lot more comfortable with Jalen Moore over there. But also the good thing about guys like that, they overrun the play a lot. So as long as you can run them out the play and get up between them, inside that C gap, I think we'll be fine. And as long as we keep Jimmy upright, I think we'll be fine as well.
I think the run game is so important at how effective Jimmy plays. I feel like Jimmy, when the run game is humming, is a pretty damn good quarterback. When Jimmy is forced to kind of be the dude where he has to throw the ball 45 times, it's just not his strength. It's not hate. It's just Jimmy works well with a really strong running game. And when the defense is doing its thing too, it just all seems to the Niners team to have a lot of those kind of games like we saw against the Rams where they smack people, physicality wise. They just hit people in the mouth. They run the ball really good. The play action game always seems to come alive. And I'll tell you guys this, and I'll ask everybody else this. How important is it to have George Kittle back in the lineup as far as how he helps in the running game? I mean, he's just a madman. What do you guys think, Rob?
He is priceless to this 49ers offense. He and Juice, with the versatility that they bring, with their ability to pick up second-level blocks when in motion, is uncanny. I mean, it's unparalleled in the league for both of them. And missing either is a real detriment to the 49ers. I think that, to me, and Kev, you hit on this. This is something that I agree with wholeheartedly. There was a different attitude that you saw hit last week, and I think Jeff Wilson Jr. brings some of that. I think, he's been described as having a light switch or a light switch that he turns off and goes to a dark place and not the light coming on. And he has that dark passenger. He has that sort of attitude that he's a nice guy at the facility, but put on the pads, put on the helmet, all of a sudden it's a little nasty. And the 49ers need that attitude. They need that. And I do believe Kittle has evolved in he still has a playful side to his personality, but I have seen a bit more of a warrior mentality in some of his facial expressions this year. And I don't think he's been able to live up to that. And I believe it has frustrated him to great extent. You can hear it in his answers. It seemed at the beginning of the year, he was determined to send a new message about how he was playing, how he was going to dominate people. And then he went out, and I'm sure he heard a lot of the same cries. I don't know if you saw the exchange he had with a fan at the Giants playoff game. It was like, man, you got to get back out there. I got you on my fantasy team. And George was like, that's tough. I'm sure he's hearing that a lot. So I do think that he's got a lot to prove still, and he's got to be out there on the field in order to do it. This sets up perfectly for a nice game for George Kittle to say that he's back. But it's a combination of these guys that come in with the mentality. It's the defensive leaders getting everyone together in that room and instilling a sense of pride and a sense of what needs to be done on the field in order to change the outcome of the game. I think George is a critical piece to that.
Beto?
No, I agree. George Kittle and Juice combination, the way he pancaked Von Miller. We need that type of attitude, man.
Get out of my head.
That's what he brings. That's what he brings to that offense. You know what I mean? Yeah, we love him to be a pass catcher and and all that, but we have Deebo that is succeeding this year for that. So we can definitely focus on Kittle's attitude. I love his attitude. He's not afraid of contact. His pride is to knock on your ass. And that's what he wants to do. And I love the way he plays. Of course, that type of play, you're going to get hurt here and there. But, I hate the comparisons with Kelsey, the comparisons with this. Listen, Kittle is who Kittle is. He's a baller, man. He's a street player. He likes physicality, and that's what he brings. And he brings that attitude. If you notice, even Juice blocks better when Kittle's in the game than when he's not. Everybody just transforms into a better offense. And Wilson, I know we're talking about Kittle, but just to add about Wilson. Wilson also brings that same attitude to that backfield. And you saw the difference between 1 week with Wilson, without Wilson. So, but I love Kittle. I love what he does. I love his attitude. I just pray that he stays healthy. But you know what? You can't stop Kittle from being Kittle, man. That's who he is. And if you try to protect him from himself, you take away of who he is. You just got to let him be and just hope that he doesn't get hurt.
Kev?
It's funny, Beto. If you were sitting next to me, man, you get out my head. I was just going to talk about that. Because I saw somebody, put some pancakes in the chat, and I try to use different wording because everybody uses a lot of same words a lot. But on that same play you're talking about, when he came in motion versus the Rams and put Von Miller, he pancaked him. As soon as it happened, I tweeted, put that ball in his pockets. And when I'm coaching, I tell my guys, hey, put him on his pockets. On his pockets. What you got behind you?
Yep.
In your pants, pockets. Put him on his pockets. You know what I'm saying? So and the thing I love about it is, with the way he comes in motion, and when him and Juice in the game at the same time. So you got one guy coming in motion, and they're not coming just to chip you either. You know what I'm saying? They come to push you on your pockets. You know what I'm saying? They come to serve pancakes. So you got Kittle on one side of motion, Juice out the backfield. So the edges, should be, pretty much contained. And to add to Kittle's dominance and how dangerous he can be, you don't know. He's so feared with his blocking. When he comes in motion and he takes a step upfield, I guarantee you that defender is looking for a block. And he can use that to his advantage. Because now he's in the flat, just, hey, I'm out of here. So I'm really looking forward to see what Kyle Shanahan dials up and how creative he gets tomorrow. Be it with giving Debo the ball at the backfield. I don't particularly like using him as a running back. He gets beat up enough at wide receiver, but yeah, every now and then it's okay. And speaking of Debo, I'm pretty sure tomorrow he surpasses that 1K mark. And because the first receiver since Anquan Bolden in 2013 to go over 1,000 yards. So
a long time.
But yeah, those right. That's so long ago, right? But I really do think tomorrow that Kittle, Juszczyk, Juice, what are you gonna call them? All those guys will play a part, and we'll feed off of last week to say, listen, I don't care if we're going to here to play the Florida team of the blind. We finna give them all we got. No, I'm not pulling no punches. They out there. You know what I'm saying? If it's a team full of women, hey, they put helmets on, let's go. So because think about it, they finna give you their best shot, regardless of what you got going on. And everybody gonna say nothing about, damn that, you lined up, so damn it, go out there and play. So I really can't wait to see, how it plays out tomorrow. I'm assuming to be in a win. But again, everybody has to be clicking on all cylinders and be totally locked in.
I want to say this. Luke Luna has posted this a couple times in the chat. So he thinks that the Niners maybe come out and maybe put something else on tape instead of running in a lot to that, and doing that they may come out and chuck the ball around a little bit more. Do you think the Niners go against the grain and maybe come out doing something different than what we're expecting? Or do you think it's going to be more or less what we saw last week?
Oh, I think they might. I mean, Kyle Shanahan often outsmarts himself in that regard. To me, it would be a mistake. I think you found your identity. Prove that it's your identity. Wallow in that identity. Roll around in the mud and prove that you are that running football team, that you like to get dirty, that you're going to do it each week until somebody proves that they can stop you. That, to me, is a true identity. If you think, well, our identity is running the football, but if somebody's really going to try and stop us from running, then we'll just pass. Then that's not your identity. Stop. It's frustrating to think that could happen. I have to acknowledge it's a distinct possibility because I feel it is one of Kyle's shortcomings is to outcoach himself. I would get the idea of holding something back if you jump out to a larger lead, certainly, but every game is very important going forward. I don't think you can underestimate anybody.
Beto?
Okay.
No, go ahead, kid. I'll go after.
And I don't want to make it seem like this is a jump on Jimmy show or jump on Jimmy train. But if our quarterback was anybody but Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd have no problem, just throwing the ball around and having a pass party. But it's risky. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're either not winning or tied. You kind of don't want to get behind the 8 ball and to think about it. If we do that and Jimmy morphs into bad Jimmy, now you got Kyle Shanahan second guessing himself more than he was before, and now he's like, damn it. Okay, I tried to highlight you, you know what I'm saying, but you gave it away. But I will say this about Jimmy as far as what I was saying. I know Rob said a moment ago, or maybe it was you, Aaron, that said when a running game is going, he's pretty much at his best, which is true. But he's also at his best when he's comfortable. He's also at his best when he has to worry about getting put on his pockets. He's also at his best when he's kind of in a groove and in a rhythm. So if those 3 things are in place, I have no problem passing the ball more. But I don't want to see Jimmy out there 22 for 47. No, I'm trying to pass the ball 47. No, sir. Nah. Like Rob just said, you found your identity. Run the damn ball. Run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. I mean, something along those lines.
Right.
Where the margin of error is or the risk of error is at its lowest peak.
Yeah, I agree. We have to be really determined to run, but I think what will help Kyle Shanahan to be persistent in the run game is how our defense is dictating their offense. If we're able to not have them put up points on us, we should be able to stick with the run game more than the pass. If we fall behind, it's when we start playing the catch up. Like the Arizona Cardinals game, people were telling me always on my live and telling me on my private chats that why did we stop running the game? I go, well, the Cardinals game is a little bit different. We fell behind 2 turnovers. Next thing you know, it was 17-0. At that point, you're not going to run. You're going to try to put it on Jimmy's hands to try to win. And we saw what happened. Jimmy's not at his best when everything's put on his shoulders. He needs to be complimented with the run. But I think that if Kyle sticks with the run and not gives up on the run, we should be fine. Wilson should be doing good. I hope I see Trey Sermon a little bit in there. But even with Wilson, it's just short passes, though. Even if we use Debo as we did against the Rams, as a running back, we got to do those, excuse me, those little screens. We got to do a lot of screens against the Jaguars if we want to be successful, but we can't definitely put it on Jimmy's hands trying to win it. We don't want another Saints game like in 2019. Although the Jags secondary is not that good, so hopefully we can be successful there. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Running the game is the best solution for us. We got to stick to our identity. How do you find it and then you lose it? You don't want to do that.
Exactly.
I want to ask real quick, and maybe it's just me. Like I said I've been on Jimmy helmet like a decal most games. So I mean, I know I'm pretty tough on the guy. I mean, but here's my question: because you said something about the screen game, Bito. Is it just me? I don't know no other quarterback that scared me as much as Jimmy do when he throws screen passes.
Yeah,
I have the same feeling.
Right. They just I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I know. Huh? If it's not down the middle, it's not working for Jimmy.
I'm like, how you mess up a screen pass? And actually, sometimes I don't know. You can see the look pre-snap, but there's been a couple times he threw the screen, and it's almost like the defender was like,
yeah, he's gonna screw it up himself.
And he still threw it. Like, okay, but I don't know. It just he makes me nervous with the way his screen pass game is set up. I thought it was just me. I want to get that in there right quick.
No, it's not just you.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
You're not alone there.
Yeah.
There's always a little trepidation. There's always a little trepidation when he throws screen passes. Some people just cannot. I see other teams beat us to death, like the Colt McCoy show a couple weeks ago. Screen. It's like our team was never ready for the screen. Every time we throw a screen, I'm just like closing my eyes like, oh my God. Half of them hit the ground or they go out of bounds or
3-yard loss,
receiver
4-yard loss.
Yeah, the receiver gets blown up behind the line of scrimmage. I'm like, how can other teams crush us with the same thing? And we can't. I don't know, man. But it's not like Trey Lance is the greatest with screens either. He's a little bit shaky himself. So it's kind of like, I would be practicing screen passes and in practice more than I would do that stupid thing that Grant talks about where they shuffle to one side, shuffle to the other side, shuffle backwards. Like, you never do that in a game. Do stuff that you actually do in the game and practice those things and stuff that you never see.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask all you guys. The Niners have been using Debo like a lot. And my fear, because we're the Niners and we have injury issues all the time, is they're going to overuse him. And then they're going to have a problem. How important is it for Kyle to start to get the ball to other players? Ayuk, Kittle, even Juszczyk. Like, the Niners need to figure out a way to start spreading that candy to everybody else. Rob, I'll let you go first. I just feel like the Niners are playing with fire with using Debo so much all the time.
Yeah, how important is it? It's critical. And not merely for the injury issue, right? How many more games until a defense just locks Debo down, right? If you haven't gotten outside of the reliance that they have on Debo Samuel, it could be an unfortunate outcome, and it could be one of these games that we have to win, right? There are a couple of games on the schedule that you look at and you think those are the last 1 or 2 losses that the 49ers can have this season. They can't afford any others. And they have to win some tough games that remain on the schedule. So to me, it's about being proactive. It reminds me very much of why I'm still in favor of Trey Lance getting snaps, is the seemingly inevitable conclusion that there will be a game where Jimmy gets nicked up again. That's what history tells us will happen. And you're still failing to prepare the young gentleman to come in and be successful. I would say the same for the 49ers offense to operate without Debo Samuel at this point in time. I don't think it's set up to do so. I think the offense would fall flat on its face if Debo was held in check by an opposing defense. So I agree wholeheartedly on the risk of overuse injury, but I think you have to evolve it for other reasons as well, to have a healthy offense, a balanced offense.
Amen. It's funny, Rob, but when the way you're talking about Debo, the way you have, and not only is it true, I've written a couple of articles about Debo, and I'm actually working on another one now. But you guys seen that show Squid Game on Netflix recently?
Never seen it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm familiar with it.
There's a meme out there where there's a part in the show where a guy was falling and he caught him, and he was holding him up and holding him in place, and the guy standing up, it says Debo. And then it says the guy falling says the 49ers offense. And that's pretty much that's the epitome of, like you said, you remove Debo, it's like, what do you have? And it's not like we don't have other weapons. I mean, so then again, maybe he's setting people up for the kill. Like, you think we only got Debo, but then again, I don't put too much stock in that. So we got other guys, Kittle, I still think Juszczyk is what happened?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead.
So many guys on vacation.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, what happened?
Your time's up, Kev. Sorry.
No. I really feel like I still to this day feel like Juszczyk isn't used enough in the passing game, and a lot of that has to do with the quarterback play. So I know Trey Lance has his issues, but I really feel like once he gets to going, that you'll see a lot of these guys who we want to see more in the passing game. Be the wheel route. Little pop passes. I don't know, but to go back to the original point, yes, we need to find a way to get the ball to somebody else other than Debo, and God, for Christ's sakes, we play a team with a coach like Bill Belichick who takes away your best player from you, and now how you take away Debo since he can do so much, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick will find a way. You know what I'm saying? So,
nice.
To prepare for that day when a team tries to erase a Debo, yes, I would like to see the ball more even distributed to other players. And not to mention, keep more tread on Debo tires.
Beto?
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. We've seen Debo at running back. I thought those kind of plays that Kyle really wanted to use. What's the name of the receiver that we just let go? They never planned out for us.
Jalen Hurd.
I think Jalen Hurd wanted to use in that formation, and he wasn't able to be successful with that. So he had no choice but to use Debo, and I think that's what he really wanted for Jalen Hurd. But unfortunately, with Jimmy, you can't really utilize Brandon Ayuk to his potential, or even Kittle. It's the deep ball, it's not really there. And so that you can't really execute Brandon Ayuk. So you're forced to utilize a player like Debo that it's great yards after the catch. Not that Ayuk isn't, but Ayuk is more of your deep threat type of receiver. And unless once we get Lance going and playing the right way, you're right. Like Kev said, you'll be able to utilize the other players better. But right now we have no choice but to use Debo. And you're right. Same thing with the Rob. I'm not afraid for his injuries, but I just don't want him to be overused where a bunch of defenses have every game plan about Debo Samuel. But one thing about Debo, though, as long as he stays healthy, that kid is special. Say what you want, but that kid is special. You got to put the ball in your playmaker's hands, and right now he's your playmaker. So you got to keep putting miles on him. I hate to do that, but when he gives you the best opportunity to win, you got to keep putting the ball in his hands.
I think Jimmy, I think this is more of an, and I'm not trying to hate on Jimmy because Jimmy's had some big boy throws in that game last week. I mean, he had some nice ones, some anticipation. That's one thing I get mad at Jimmy for is anticipation throws. But if you're going to blame anybody, I just feel like Jimmy falls in love with certain players. And he falls out of love with certain players. And you saw it when, Emmanuel Sanders went down in that one Seattle game a couple years ago, the year in 2019. And Jimmy had no rapport with anybody, like nobody, that's his own fault. Like, I don't know what it is. He has predetermined reads before the snap and guys happen to be open like Kittle or Debo. And it's just like, dude, some quarterbacks they use every single weapon that they have on the field. And that's the one thing about Trey Lance that's interesting. Like, he doesn't really favor anybody. He just kind of throws it to who's open. Even if they're not open, sometimes he throws it to them. But because he can fit it in there. He's got that hose. But
Jimmy does that too.
I just want to see an offense that can kill you from different areas or in different ways. Because once you get to that point, and you can run the football, you're hard to stop. And in the Niners, if they somehow, some way can get into the dance this year, they could be one of those teams, if they get in, who could be really dangerous. Because when the Niners are clicking, they kick your ass, man. They run on you. Their defense plays well. I'm going to get into my next topic with this. The one fear I have about the 49ers defense is it's Bosa and nothing else right now. And it really scares me with that pass rush. It's like there's nothing there besides Bosa. So I'm going to start this next topic with what do the Niners got to do to get other people to get pressure on the quarterback? Is it a schematic thing? Do we need to blitz more? What do you call it? Zone blitz, stunts. What do we have to do to get this pass rush to evolve? Because if Nick Bosa goes down, man, we could be in trouble. Rob?
Yeah, I think, it is fair to say if you have a player of Nick Bosa's caliber on any team and he goes down, that's a huge loss. So I think it's fair to acknowledge that from the outset, that you can't lose a player as special as Nick Bosa and not expect to take a major hit as far as your defensive efficiency. But you make a great point about just how dependent the 49ers have been on a single player, on a single player's production. You would hope, it seems to be a talent issue to me. If we're attributing blame as to why no one else is stepping up on the outside, on the edges, it appears that we don't have a bookend opposite of Nick Bosa. I'm hopeful that Charles Omenihu can develop into that player. He flashed a little something in his first game, and perhaps Samson Ebukam can play a little bit more like the individual I was hoping he would round into. It doesn't seem that either one is really having the production. It strikes me that they have tried moving the line around significantly, getting Bosa all over the place, attempting to match him up against the favorable matchup as opposed to sticking to one side or the other. I'm cautious with the blitzes underneath D'Amico Ryans at the moment, in that it feels when we have used them, they haven't gotten home considerably frequently and then have left us exposed to the big play. And that is the killer so far this year, is the big play. So I would rather play fundamentally sound defense, have a somewhat disappointing pass rush from the front four, and live with that and keep everything in front of you. That would be my preference.
Kev?
It's funny. I just coming back to somebody in the comments. Tony, Lusignan? Lusignan. I'm sorry, Lusignan. Sorry if I butchered your name the first time. But no, and I know I keep saying this, but man, I've been a football fan since I can walk and talk, man, and the one thing I had to do as a DC when I had my great edge rusher I'm like, okay. It looked like they kind of got hip to him. Can't take it past nobody no more. You know, so what's going on, Queen? That's what I would do. I would either well, they've been rotating both from side to side. You know, you saw that a couple of different games. He went on the left or on the right. Give him a couple more breathers. I mean, because I know he out there tired. Because there's been a couple of times, forgot what game it was, but he got up one time, and I don't know if it was a frustration for being held or the frustration from like, hey man, like they're jumping me. Like you don't see them jumping me. Like, can I get some help? So my thing is, what I would do is I would do more stunts with him. You know, or even if I did have him lined up at tackle, you know, and I have him stunt one end or something to that nature. But there's something more stunt or a twist to where he has more free looks. Because anywhere he is, that's what they're looking. Most teams, All-Pro Fred, one of my favorite linebackers ever to play the game. Most quarterbacks come to the line, you know, 54 is the mic. I'm pretty sure with our defensive quarterbacks are like, Bosa is on the left. you know, Bosa is right there. You know, so just find ways to get him free. You know, slants. You know, in first tackle, second. I mean, something just to where he's not always so susceptible to that double team. You know, or something, or hell, have sneak a blitz off his right side. You know, or you know, off his hip. I mean, something like that. I mean, so, but most definitely, and he's been balling even with all the attention he's been getting. Man, look,
yes, he has.
Nick Bosa is made of steel, man. I mean, I don't know. The guy is just aside from when he got hurt, you know, knock on wood, you know, that was terrible for what happened to him. But the guy just his motor is just crazy.
He got muscles on top of muscles.
Yep.
Man, yeah, his muscles got muscles. You know what
I'm
saying?
Right, exactly what I was gonna say.
You know, but my guy from Houston, damn it, Aminihu. I think
Aminihu. I don't know how to say his name either.
There's like 4 different ways to say it, Kev. Don't worry.
Somebody kept calling him Omega in the chat.
Alpha and Omega. Okay. But no, you're right. He had a pretty good showing. And, you know, what's his name is back? Willis is back. I mean, so, hey, you know what? People dog Arden Key, but Arden Key has looked better and better every game. You know, I know we're halfway through the season just about. I mean, but just find ways just to free him up or switch up the combinations. You know, Arden Key is in there. You know, Willis is in there now, you know. Yeah, thank you, Pioneer. Aminihu. Yeah, say it slowly. You know, just find ways to free him up some.
Yep. Well, I'm not going to add too much what you guys already said of that, but what I do want to say is picking up free agents with John Lynch is really irritates me because when we took D Ford, over the kid that went over to Tampa, we could have had him, and then when we took Ichabod, or whatever his name is, from the Rams, we let the guy go to Carolina from Arizona. Those two players were players that could have been brought into this defense, and it wouldn't have been that much of a different cost of what we paid for these guys. So it's just a matter of making the right decisions also, because like Rob said, it's about talent. There's not enough talent to complement Bosa on that D-line. And Eric Armstead has been persistent, but he's not the guy that's going to get you sacks. He's just going to be penetrating, holding against the run. So Bosa, and it's hard when you have only one side penetration. Is all you got to do is double up Bosa, and pretty much, and nobody else works. And Key has been coming around little by little, but it's just not having enough talent. And I don't know about you guys, but John Lynch, man, he needs to make better decisions and who he brings in. And I think that's the part of the failure, that I don't know if it's and then one guy that I don't like, a lot of people do like, I can't pronounce his name, Parag Murtay or whatever. I think a lot of people call him a genius, but I think he's a cheapskate that doesn't want to pay anybody the right money, and I think that's been hurting us in the long run. That's my opinion. I could be alone here, but it's just bringing in the right players, the right talent. It has not been done in free agency for the most part. And that's, although D Ford, you couldn't predict his injury, but still, that's tough when you don't bring in the right help to help Bosa and complement Bosa, in my opinion.
Of course, you could have predicted for an injury. You could. He had it with the cave. I said, of course you could have predicted injuries.
I mean, not to that extent, but I hear you.
Oh, you know, I mean, like I said, I just never really liked that. They had to know. I think they took a chance with that, you know, and had it worked out, we're not having this conversation, you know. But that's where the thorough ability to evaluate talent and things like that come into play, you know. So, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you go ahead, Aaron. You're about to say something.
Grant Cohen made a good point, and I'll always give Grant props. The thing with Parag is the Niners sometimes do the discount shopping where they go to the convenience store or the Walmart or somewhere, and they go for the
TJ Maxx. Yeah,
they go for the guy that has like an injury history, but the Niners are banking on him that he's going to be healthy this year, and they're going to give him a contract that is incentive based, and they go the cheap route instead of saying, you know what, this guy's always healthy. Yeah, it's going to cost us a little bit, but he's always healthy and he's super productive. Doesn't get hurt. They never do that. They always think that they're smarter than everybody else. And that's the one thing I think the inexperience of John Lynch, and I think the fact that Parag has been there so long, they do this discount shopping thing with free agents, and it bites them in the butt every time. Like, how did you not think that Verrett was going to get hurt? I just had a feeling in my brain. I wasn't trying to be negative, but I'm just thinking, man, they're putting too many eggs in that basket. Dude's going to get hurt. And sure enough, they can't even get through one freaking game with him. Same thing with Mostert. And it's like, you got to get to a point where you got to reevaluate. Say, you know what? Let's bite the bullet, spend a little bit more money, get a guy that's always healthy. Yeah, they might not, you might have to eat a little bit more cap with the guy and give him a little bit more salary to get him here because of the crappy taxes that California has. But God, man, like you watch the Rams and I know that they just operate differently, but they're just so damn aggressive and they go for it. And they're all about trying to win and win now. And the 49ers are like always like doing things for the future. Well, when is the future going to happen? When is it actually going to take place? Like, give me something. Right. Okay. What are we saving all this money for a rainy day for if we're not winning? I don't know. Well, I don't know what you guys think.
That's a York thing, though. I think York has to need to stop being so harsh with his money, man. I think Parag, is York's best friend and helps him out with his money. But I mean, I missed the Eddie DeBartolo years where, of course, we didn't have what do you call it back then?
Salary cap.
Salary cap. Thank you. So it was a little bit easier. But even if we did, DeBartolo would have did what he had to do to bring in the talent. And I think with Jed York and the Yorks, man, it's hard when it starts from the top. If you can't do it from the top, it's hard to spread down. And sometimes John Lynch and Kyle might be handicapped. They might be limited with the resources they have. So it might not even be them. It could be the owner. So
definitely. Rob, anything else?
Yeah, I would say I agree and I disagree to some extent. The point where I may disagree is that I do think that Jed has been reasonable at spending his money in that they've been up against the cap, right? Which means that they're spending the available dollars that they can. But I also agree that they've attempted to do the bargain bin shopping. They've been buying too many of the dented cans at the supermarket for sure. And it's a reasonable strategy to fill perimeter holes and to hope low risk, high reward moves. But and Trent Baalke did this as well, and it bit the 49ers in the butt then, and it seemed to do it again recently, although I've seen a transition away from it, is this investment in injured players and hoping that one of them will be a home run because it's this cheap investment, and so you're saving some money. That's great if you're filling small pieces around the team, but when you start to construct the majority or big pieces within the organization with these flawed, discount shopping purchases, and it's not a shock when a couple of them go down. I mean, it is fair to say with Mostert and Verrett, it was fair to wonder if they were going to make it through a whole year, but no one expected them to go out week 1, right? That's ridiculously bad luck for the 49ers in that regard, but it was a flawed idea to go in with them slotted in as the most important pieces at your cornerback and running back positions because of the fact that you got them at a discount for their extended injury histories.
Definitely.
If I can add that real quick, to that as well. Not only that, but in the draft as well, like the whole let's move down and gain more draft value and not go after players that you covet. Like Asante Samuel should have been drafted instead of trying to move down. Hopefully he will fall into their laps. And they were trying to get their cake and eat it as well. They wanted a Samuel. I really believe they did, but they wanted to move down and get some draft pick. They should have got him. And instead we got Aaron Banks, who hasn't even touched the field. Second round pick, he hasn't touched the field. So moves like that can really hurt us in the long run, and then it has, especially since we need secondary help. Imagine if Samuel, what he would have been doing for us there. But yeah, we have Aaron Banks is warming up the bench.
Crazy. Transitioning over to some news. Speaking of injuries, the practice window has opened for a couple players, one being Dre Greenlaw and the other being Jaquaski Tart. My question to you guys, and I don't know who's going to go first. Who do you want? You like? Do you like Azeez Al-Shaair, or are you more of a Dre Greenlaw guy? I'm kind of torn right now. Personally, I have always been a Dre Greenlaw guy, but man, when I watch Azeez Al-Shaair, that boy can hit, and he brings thunder. I haven't seen that kind of hitting since the Denvaro Bowman, Patrick Willis days. I know, Warner brings it, but this dude, like, he's a little bit of a throwback, and it's tough, man, because, you can't, like they said, you can't keep everybody. I would like to keep both of them. Why not have both? But I don't know how financially they can do that. I'll start with Beto. What's your opinion on the whole situation with Dre Greenlaw and Azeez Al-Shaair? Who do you like more, and does it matter who starts, or you have a favorite in the race, so to speak?
I love the hitting of Azeez, but you need somebody that can tackle, and Azeez misses a lot of tackles. And one thing you get from Greenlaw, he hardly misses tackles, in my opinion. So if I had to choose between them, I would take Greenlaw in a minute over Azeez. Although I do like Azeez, I think Azeez will be a great number 3 linebacker, but it's number 2 next to Fred Warner. And Fred Warner, if you see, he plays much better when Greenlaw's out there. It's just a different level of play. But that's just me. I like Greenlaw. I just love his tackling, his ability to tackle over Azeez. But Azeez is a good hitter. But we have that already with the torpedo guy, Hufanga, out there. So we already had that one missile. We just need somebody who can surely tackle and bring down those running backs.
Kev?
I've been going back and forth with this for some time now, Aaron. Like, man, what are we gonna do when Greenlaw get back? And again, the Azeez, that's kind of guy you want on your team, man. Like I said, as a DC, every game I'm like, let's go. I mean, he always do something to just get you, make you spill your beer or something. Not knock your nachos over, something. But I do want to speak to the point. I haven't seen him miss many tackles, Bito. I mean, I done seen him hit somebody so hard he didn't really have to tackle, but I haven't really seen him miss a lot of tackles. Like, once he's got his hands on somebody, I mean, if he can point the game out to me, I'll go watch it. Hey, I refute what I just said, but I do agree though. Greenlaw don't miss tackles, and he's amazing in coverage. So those are two things I would say he has over Azeez. Is he's a better sure tackler, while Azeez may be a harder and better hitter. Greenlaw is a better tackler, form tackler, and much better in coverage. If we could find a way, see, we don't run base a lot anymore. We got a base 4-3. I'd love to see, slide Azeez over to Sam, but we don't really run that base 4-3 too much anymore. So that'd be one way to keep them both on the field. But hey, that's a damn good insurance policy, to have behind Greenlaw is Azeez. So Ooh, but if I had to choose one, yes, it'd be Greenlaw. I mean, he's the better all around player, but just something about the Aziz that boy, like he shot out of a cannon every time he shoot a gap. You know, that boy shoot and fill gaps, and his run fits are normally great. And I did want to say this one thing. Somebody brought up Fred Warner, and I don't know if it was just the media or John Lynch was talking about how Fred Warner has took a step back. If you ask me, I just really think he's had to do so much more with injuries. He's trying to do everything. You know what I'm saying? So is it really he's playing that much worse, or he's trying to do that much more? You know, maybe a combination of both. You know, so I just had to speak of All Pro Fred right quick. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard for Fred Warner to be Fred Warner without your D tackles doing their jobs, bro.
Right, definitely. Yeah, right. Because the D line got to keep the second level clean, and we're not doing none of that. You know.
Yep.
First, we using pine sol at first. I don't know what we're using now, water and some soap.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Not Fred Warner, bro.
So
it's, yeah.
The interior line has.
Yeah, I agree with Kev on that point. Just to put a bow on the Fred Warner talk, it is, you know, we talked about having an aggressive defense this year, and yet Fred Warner's attempts on rushing the quarterback are down from 2020. And it was supposed to be the opposite. This was going to be the season that Fred was put in position to make big plays because DeMeco Ryans understood what it meant to be an inside linebacker, what it meant to be an elite inside linebacker, and that you want that guy to be able to make plays within the defense. And it has turned such that he's attempting to do too much, and he's admitted as much himself. When it comes to the problem that we have in two guys returning, it's a quality damn problem to have, isn't it? Right? We're debating between players that all deserve to be on the field, and that's a relief as opposed to an injury decimated defense where you're wondering who can go on the field, who could step up. We have guys that are capable of it. Al-Shaair with that face mask bending hit that he laid on someone on the Rams team. I think it was Sony Michel, but I could be mistaken about that. That to me is a tone-setting type of hit, and I think something that this defense at this particular moment in time really needs. I do agree that Dre Greenlaw is a sure tackler. I love him in coverage, sideline to sideline. I love him in the zone runs for that same reason, his ability to get sideline to sideline. But for thumping, setting the tone, Aziz Al-Shaair seems to be what we need at this point in time. So I will predict that we remain with Aziz until Dre really has his legs back underneath him. And you could see more base defense this weekend. I think James Robinson is the biggest threat we're going to face on Jacksonville's offense. And if he gets going, it could be very dangerous. And so potentially they really sell out against the run and force Trevor Lawrence to try and beat them over the top and hopefully get a couple of turnovers. I could see more easily Jaquiski Tartt reclaiming his starting position, but I predict that even if that is the case, they will work in Hufanga because of what he brings. His nose for the ball, the fact that he's consistently flying around the field, again goes back to a mindset, a mentality that the 49ers otherwise seem to be missing. So I believe they'll bring him in as a spark and use him in different positions around the field because of his natural ability to sort of just make plays and find the ball. So I would anticipate that we'll see all four playing at some point.
Definitely. I want to make a comment about this. That's a great point. Aziz is what the 49ers wanted in Quan Alexander to be at a better ability of play and a cheaper price. I agree about that one. Because Quan was a thumper too, but he was always hurt. Just like when we drafted the idiot that we drafted Reuben Foster.
Don't say that.
The human missile that was always in the blue tent every single game. He was always in the blue tent all the time. I would watch a game with my brother and I'd be like, he's hurt again. He's hurt again. Because he didn't know how to tackle. He would just shoot his body into people. But yeah, like Quan was that for a bit. But again, he was like made of china glass, so he was always hurt. That's the one thing. Like Aziz was undrafted because of some injuries, but you could see if he would have been healthy coming out of the draft, he's pretty damn talented. I do agree that Dre is better against the pass. I personally think Dre Greenlaw is a better pass covering linebacker than Azeez. The game where a lot of people missed tackles was, I think everybody missed tackles. In that Arizona game, the whole defense sucked.
God.
Yeah.
Everybody sucked.
So embarrassing.
Warner sucked. Freaking Azeez sucked. Hufanga was bad. I mean, the angles, it looked like they didn't even want to hit people in that game. It was like somebody, when you used to play football outside as a kid when you were cold, and when you started getting really cold, like we were playing tackle football, nobody wanted to touch anybody anymore. I'd play those games. My hands would get numb. I didn't want to tackle. So that's what it looked like. It looked like everybody was freezing, didn't want to play no more. And to me, it's like I said, it should be a meritocracy. It should be whoever gives you the best chance to win. There is two fields. There's two ways of thinking when it comes to Hufanga and Tart. Tart, the problem with Tart isn't his level of play. It's just that he's always hurt. He's another one of those guys that the Niners seem to just have this love affair that they can't break off. I think in time, Hufanga is going to become the starter, just based on the Niners are. If they are saying that they want to start, addressing the things with injuries and trying to find a way to, curtail this injury situation, one thing you do is you get and move on from players that have injury history, even though they're really good players, they're never on the field. And I think Hufanga eventually, hopefully, and this is because I really like him. If he can get better in pass coverage, that's kind of his weakness. It ain't hitting because that boy can hit. I see him eventually taking over that role personally. I don't know. Do you guys have any? I know you guys have already given your opinion, but like, do you think he might be someone eventually that takes over that position?
Go ahead, Beto.
I was just going to say real quick. You guys can answer the question that Aaron asked, but I just wanted. Aaron's having a lot of viewers watching today, and I just want to bless Aaron and his viewers. Somebody today is going to win this beautiful Forever Faithful patch. Compliments of me for this. So Aaron, you got to figure out who's going to win it. How you going to do the ask question, trivia questions?
I've never done one of those before.
I'm going to leave it up to you. But whoever wins in today's viewing will get this patch sent out. Compliments of 49ers first take.
Nice.
I have someone in mind. And it's not a lot of people who a lot of people think, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the people that have been in here tonight too. YouTube's kind of a funny thing. Sometimes you get 10 viewers in a live stream and sometimes you get 50. So, I mean, I'll take what I can get. I am very thankful for all the people that are in here. I'm sorry that I'm not as active in the chat as I usually am, but when you have a lot of guests on, it's kind of hard to kind of divvy the responsibility between the chat and the people that you're trying to let have their point of view. As we wrap this up, I want to kind of go back to the Trey Lance situation for you guys. This has really nothing to do with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I get into this a lot with my viewers, not really like hateful discussions, just differing opinions. My whole thing is you're seeing the growth of a guy like Mac Jones. You're seeing the growth of a guy like Trevor Lawrence. You're not really seeing it too much with Zach Wilson because he's having a rough year. But how nervous are you guys as the season keeps going that we really haven't seen this kid get on the field all that much? And it makes me kind of worry going into the offseason. Like if Jimmy does end up moving on, this is Trey or bust next year. And I wish I could see something from the kid and see what we have and give him a chance to fall on his face because he's going to. He is raw, but he's got God-given. He's got a hose for an arm. He can move. He's calm under pressure. He's great. Like he's great with the media. I like the kid a lot. He's very mature for a 21-year-old, and this is coming from a 42-year-old almost. So I guess I'll start with Rob on this one. Rob, how do you balance your feelings on this? You want the Niners to keep winning, yes, and if Jimmy gives you the best chance, yes. But part of you seem to be pulling towards like I want to see this kid at some point to see what we have.
Not so much to see what we have. I may be foolish in this regard, but I'm not nervous about Trey at all. I'm still very confident there. And it just comes from a feeling I have about the kid. In my initial research, when I started looking through all of the quarterbacks that it seemed were going to be available when we traded up to 3, and I looked at the highlight reel, which is what I do. It was a recommendation I saw from some draft guru that when you want to go in, the first thing you do when you scout a player is watch their highlight reel, because that's their ceiling, right? That's potentially the star that they could become if they're able to have the same level of success that they had at a previous level when they translate to the NFL. And when I watched that highlight tape, I just saw what I wanted to see out of a prospect. Just everything I wanted to see out of a prospect. Incredibly intelligent, incredibly very capable at communicating, which I am not apparently at the moment. Just a confidence, an aggression, an unwillingness to waver in his belief in himself, and then all the physical gifts as well. So I'm holding on to that. I've not seen anything to disprove anything that I saw in the offseason that gave me the level of hope that I have. That said, I do think you have to get him some wins, some quick wins, some easy wins. I do think you have to find him snaps. You have to work harder at getting him into the games where it's not going to disrupt flow. I said going into the Rams game, I wanted him to get 5 to 8 snaps in that game. As that game played out, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Kyle Shanahan played that game perfectly to a T. Please don't change anything. I just want to go back and rewatch it again. That said, each week going into the game plan, I feel the same way, that you have to get Trey some snaps. You have to give him some positive experiences out on the field just to continue the progression, just to build the confidence. I do still believe that it's possible to ruin quarterbacks. I think you could be watching that with Zach Wilson right now. You certainly saw that happen to David Carr. There was no way he was ever going to progress into the quarterback maybe he could have been if Houston hadn't allowed him to actually just get buried on the field over and over again. But those are outliers. Those are extreme circumstances. I think within our offense, he would be able to come in and have enough success such that he would progress, like you're seeing from Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. Obviously Mac Jones came in as the more pro-ready of the quarterbacks anyway. But I think we make these assumptions early because the NFL is a small sample size. Obviously, we have to wait till the end of year 3 to really see.
Kev?
It's kind of a loaded question. But
Sorry.
I'm gonna start where Rob ended, where he mentioned that Mac Jones was the most pro ready and the readiest of the quarterbacks to play. I agree with that. I never wanted Mac Jones, just because, get the guy out of here. I never wanted Mac Jones just because I didn't want another Jimmy G 2.0, and things of that nature. But what I will say is, while Mac Jones may have been the readiest based on games played, Trey Lance was the least ready based on games played. Not because of talent, because of games played. And I will say this about Kyle Shanahan: he never not once said that he's going to compete with Jimmy Garoppolo for the starting job. He never said that. He never gave false hope that Trey might get the keys. So, but I just think that we're so based upon the good Jimmy versus bad Jimmy dichotomy and how he can teeter between the two, and Trey Lance's upside. You're like, man, put the kid in, and I get that too. But now this is where I have an issue. You don't trade everything you traded for Trey Lance. Just say sit there and be quiet. I'll let you know when I need you. You trade up for a guy like that because you probably don't play him. And you ask me, had Trey Lance played from day one, he'd look better than Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, all of them at this point in time. Had he got the snaps in camp, the first team snaps and the reps, he played some in the preseason and started the season, his confidence would have been at all-time high. He would have been jailed already with the ones in the first-team offense, and I think he would have been light years ahead of even Mac Jones. And look, Mac Jones, the other night, he threw one of the prettiest passes I've ever seen, followed by one of the most bonehead interceptions I've ever seen. So I'm like, he's not exempt. You know, Matt Jones isn't exempt. You know, and so I would definitely like to see Trey get some more snaps. But my thing is, you don't get better by not doing what you're going to be doing when you're getting better. If that makes sense. You know, you need to be actually in there in the fire. You know, so people say, "Oh, we got all off season," and I mean, yeah, what throwing against air? You know, you're not throwing against nobody. So hopefully he does get a couple steps per game moving forward. You know, just to get the feel of it. And some of y'all may say y'all don't agree with me. That's fine. I think he played fairly well in the Arizona game, and he damn near won the game for us. You know, like he was pretty much our only offense, especially being used like a running back. You know, so he had the one high throw for the interception, but newsflash, Jimmy Jones does that too, more than you guys like to admit. But he threw a couple of dimes too. You know, and he was cold. He came in and just, hey, all right, my first start, let's get to it. So yes, Trey Lance is the future, and I would love to see him play more snaps moving forward. And I think he can help us. If you think down the line, as the season goes on, people are going to get hurt, tired, X, Y, Z. It will behoove Shanahan and the offense to kind of ease them in there and kind of give defenses different looks. You know, you never know what you're going to get. And, you know, and if you do got to, last thing I'm going to say, if you do got to throw Trey in there for whatever reason, poor play by Jimmy getting hurt, he's that much more ready versus just, hey, guess what? You got to be helmet. You know what I'm saying? I talked to you in your headset. All right. Hey, but Aaron, you guys, Rob, Bito, I got to get ready for my show here in a second. So I appreciate y'all having me. I'm about to go ahead and get ready and do some pre-production.
All righty.
I'll come back on whenever, you have a chance, my brother.
Real Talk, Niner Talk, guys. Go check them out. Go subscribe. They're a real good show to watch, and they're very entertaining. They're funny. And Kev, you have a good show with the guys. Tell them I said hello. And take care.
Will do. All right, thanks,
good
fellas.
To see you, Kev.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man. Nice meeting you.
All right, Kev. Yeah, there's not too much to add to all that. I mean, Rob and Kev pretty much give a good extent to that. But I think it's smart to put in Trey in a certain plays here and there, not completely replace Jimmy, but he needs. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I learned how to drive getting behind the wheel, and I had to kind of get the feel of the car, the motion of the car, the gears, the brakes, and the gas pedal, and the whole 9 yards. And the books are nice, but he has to get feel of the vehicle, and before you give him the keys of the car, he needs to take a couple of pre-snaps here and there. So, but I know it's hard too for Kyle too when you're a game like the Rams, when Jimmy's playing as good as he is. When do you really fit in Trey? So it's a harder one, man. So hopefully against the Jags, we'll have such an up lead going into the third or fourth quarter that we're able to give Trey some snaps. Hopefully.
And it could be that they attempt to get the run game going by inserting Trey this week without Elijah Mitchell. That if they're struggling with Jeff Wilson Jr. or Trey Sermon to really generate big chunk plays, that they might actually bring him in and not necessarily run him in the way that they did up against brick walls before, but bring in some more creative play calls that will get the run game going. I'd be happy with that.
Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah.
Well, guys, it's about an hour and a half. I figure that'd be a good as time as any to kind of, come to a conclusion. I'm going to go eat some dinner, but I just wanted to thank everybody. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone and let them kind of say where you can find them and, where to watch them and all that, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Rob, you can go first, and then I'll let Niner Sickness kind of wrap this puppy up.
I appreciate that, and thank you for having me on again, Aaron. Always enjoyed the dialogue, and definitely had a great time with Beto and Kev. That was fantastic. Is fantastic for the last few moments that we have each other. You can go follow me. My YouTube channel is my last name that you see there, Rob Schuh, SCHUH. Just Google that. You will see my channel. I do Niners content constantly. Got a regular rotation of shows. A Monday night where I typically have guests. I have had both of these fine gentlemen. Actually, no, I've been on Beto's show. Beto has yet to come on my show, but we are going to make that happen. Aaron has been on a couple of times and other guests as well. Wednesday nights, I do a mailbag show. Fridays, I go on Grant Cohn's channel and then a live show on mine immediately following, and always trying to do a pre and post game. Please go over there and check it out. And if you like it, stick around.
Right on. Yeah, for myself, is everything's Niner Sickness. You can find me on YouTube, on Twitter, Niner Sickness 49, IG Niner Sickness, and I'm more of a family type oriented type of podcast where I don't bring really the greatest news but I just like to come kind of like think of going to a coffee shop, sitting around with a couple of friends and just talking 49er football. That's the type of style that I bring. Come and hang out with me, drink some coffee, and let's talk 49er football. Whether you know football or not, it doesn't matter. Just bring your love of the game and we'll have a great conversation. That's what I bring to the table on my channel.
And remember, if you go to his channel, wipe your feet at the door, subscribe.
Yeah.
Drop a like. He says that all the time. I had to steal that from you because it's like the best line ever. I can't make anything up that's better than that, but the wipe the feet.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Wipe your feet.
You need to start putting that on your screen as part of your overlay too. Or you have done that, I think, possibly.
Yeah. I created my overlay of that, and I created my lower third with it. And it's like, please wipe your feet before entering. Yes. Smash that like button. It's customary when you walk into somebody's home, you wipe your feet before going into the home. So everybody's comes into my home video. So wipe that feet. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I forgot about that for a second, but I say that a lot on my show.
I want to give a special thanks to Kev and Bashar. Bashar had his electrician come right during the stream, so he wasn't able to stay with us. I definitely want to do this again, guys. I apologize, Niner Sickness, that I didn't really drop it in the comments, like the link, because I originally was going to have 4 people, and then and then it was only going to be me and Rob, and then Kev joined, Bashar joined, and then so it was just it was a little bit confusing for me. So I apologize. Next time I will keep an open link for anybody that wants to join after the fact. But again, thank you both for coming on. Thank you for the other guys that were in here, Kevin and Bashar. Hopefully we can talk about this win at some point in the future. I might not be available to stream this week because of my work schedule and the holiday. Probably not till next Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which might work out. I don't know. But until next time, everyone, both of you guys stay safe and healthy. Go Niners. It sucks that you guys got to get up early to watch that game tomorrow. At least I get to sleep in a little bit. But until next time, as I always say to...
Give me a second real quick. I'm sorry, Rob. Yeah, I know you're hungry. I know you want to go eat. I mean...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Aaron, I know you're hungry, but I did mention that the
Yes.
I want to make sure your viewers get it away. So just listen, guys, I'm going to make it real simple to get out of here. The first person on the comment, they can mention Aaron's favorite color.
I don't know if I've ever told anybody.
So, we'll leave you, Aaron. I mean, whoever mentions the first person that pops in the comment mentions Aaron's favorite color gets it.
Pinor.
I know that would have been simple. So red is Pinor's got it?
Yeah.
All right, Pinor, send me your information to Niner Sickness at yahoo.com, and I'll get this bad boy out to you, brother. Congratulations.
All righty. Thank you. I almost forgot about that. You're right. I'm thinking about food at the moment. But I appreciate you guys coming out again. And like I always say to everybody else, until next time, I'll see everybody on the flip side. Bye, everybody.